You planted seeds. You watered every day. You even talked to your plants. And still, everything died. Sound familiar? Here's the thing nobody tells you when you're starting out. It is not your fault. It is not your technique. It is not even your soil. The real problem is that you've been growing the wrong vegetables entirely. The hard ones, the needy ones, the ones that practically beg you to fail. But what if I told you there are 20 vegetables so easy, so forgiving, and so productive that even the most distracted, forgetful, busiest person alive can grow them successfully? And what if number one on this list is so outrageously productive that experienced gardeners have turned it into a running joke? Stay with me, because by the time we get to the end of this countdown, you are going to look at your garden or your future garden in a completely different way. Let us get into it. Number 20, sunflowers for edible seeds. Sunflowers count as a food crop, a big, beautiful, productive one. After your last frost, push a seed about 1 inch into the soil in a sunny spot and walk away. They germinate in 7 to 10 days and shoot up faster than most vegetables you will ever grow. Mammoth Russian produces enormous flower heads packed with plump, edible seeds. Royal Hybrid offers thick, sturdy stalks built for heavy seed production. Sunflowers grow in virtually any soil type, handle drought once established, and thrive in USDA zones 2 through 11, which covers almost the entire planet. Water occasionally during dry spells and let them do their thing. When the back of the flower head turns brown and dry, and the seeds look fat and full, cut the head off with about 1 foot of stem attached. Hang it upside down somewhere dry and airy to finish drying. Once ready, rub the seeds out, toss them in a little salt and olive oil, roast them, and enjoy a completely homegrown snack. Sunflowers also pull pollinators into your garden, which helps everything else you are growing produce better. But speaking of crops that work underground while you are not even watching, number 19 is a plant that basically takes over your garden for you and handles the one chore most gardeners dread above everything else. Here's what I mean. Number 19, butternut squash. After your last frost, push seeds about 1 inch deep into warm soil. Give them full sun and somewhere between 4 to 6 feet of space to spread their vines. Seeds sprout in 7 to 14 days, and most varieties reach full maturity in 80 to 110 days. Waltham butternut is the gold standard variety, rock solid, season after season. Once those vines get going, they spread out wide and thick and shade out every weed growing underneath them. Your biggest garden chore disappears. The plant does it for you. Feed it once or twice with a balanced fertilizer through the season, and watch out for squash vine borers. Harvest when the skin is hard as a rock and the stem starts to dry out. One healthy vine can produce 5 to 10 large squash, and those squash will sit in a cool, dry spot and feed your family for months. You plant once, you eat all winter. Now, if butternut sounds impressive, number 18 is even more surprising, because most people dismiss this vegetable without realizing it secretly gives you 2 completely different things to eat. And the second one is something almost nobody talks about. Number 18, turnips. Turnips do not get the respect they deserve. They are fast, easy, and shockingly forgiving. Sow seeds directly into the ground about 1/2 inch deep in early spring or late summer. They are not picky about soil at all and do perfectly fine in partial shade. Once settled in, they barely need watering. Thin the seedlings to about 4 inches apart and harvest the roots when they reach 2 to 3 inches across. The sweet spot for flavor and texture. That is the whole process. And most people do not know the greens are completely edible. Chop them up and sauté them with a little garlic for a nutritious, flavorful side dish before the roots are even close to ready. 2 harvests from 1 planting. Now, number 17 takes that same idea even further. And the best part is, you can start growing it right now with something that is probably sitting in your kitchen at this very moment. Do not skip this one. If you are finding this useful, do me a favor and hit that like button right now and subscribe if you have not already. Number 17, green onions. You can grow green onions from seed, from set, or, and this is the one that blows people's mind, from the root ends of scallions you already bought at the grocery store. Drop those root ends in a glass of water, set it on your windowsill, and within 2 to 3 days, you will see fresh green growth shooting up. Transfer those roots into actual soil, and you get a longer lasting, more flavorful harvest that keeps producing for weeks. Green onions thrive in USD. A zones 3 through 9 handle partial shade with 0 complaints and grow in just about any soil. They take up almost no space, so tuck them into raised bed edges, line them up in a small container, or scatter them throughout your vegetable garden as companion plants that naturally help repel certain pests. Ready to harvest in 3 to 4 weeks, 0 attention required. Evergreen hardy. White is a dependable variety that overwinters in many climates and comes right back in spring without replanting. And number 16, one single plant of this is going to produce so much that you will genuinely be giving it away to your neighbors. Here is the planting trick that makes all the difference. Number 16, basil. One basil plant. Cups and cups of fresh leaves, all season long. Plant transplants or sow seeds directly after your last frost in full sun with good drainage. Seeds germinate in 5 to 10 days, and within 3 to 4 weeks, you are already snipping fresh leaves. Basil loves heat and thrives in USDA zones 2 through 11 during warm months. Genovese is your classic Italian basil, perfect for pesto and pasta. Thai basil gives you a spicy, anise-forward flavor, beautiful in Asian cooking. The single most important thing, pinch off the growing tips regularly. Do not let the plant grow tall and lanky. Pinch it back, and it branches out, pushing out more and more leaves. When flower buds appear, pinch those off too, unless you want the plant to stop producing leaves. When you end up with more basil than you can use, and you will, stick a few cuttings in a glass of water, let them root out, and pot them up as brand new plants. Free basil, unlimited basil. Now, number 15 is going to shock you with its speed alone. This leafy green actually thrives in the spots of your garden where other vegetables refuse to grow. Here's why that is such great news. Number 15, spinach. 20 to 30 days from seed to your first harvest. That is spinach. Fast, nutritious, and so easy it almost feels like it is growing itself. Sow seeds directly about ½ an inch deep in early spring or late summer. Keep the soil moist and you are essentially done. Baby leaves start coming in 20 to 30 days. Full-size leaves are ready in 40 to 50 days. Spinach grows well in USD, A zones 2 through 9, and actually prefers partial shade in warmer climates. That corner of your garden where nothing seems to want to grow? Spinach might be exactly what belongs there. Bloomsdale Longstanding is a classic variety that resists bolting better than almost anything else. Space is a smooth leaf variety, incredible raw in salads. The only rule, keep spinach away from summer heat. Plant it in spring, plant it in fall. Do succession sowings every couple of weeks through the cool season, and you will have a continuous supply of fresh greens with almost 0 effort. Up next is number 14, a vegetable most beginners skip at the garden center, and that is honestly one of the biggest mistakes a new gardener can make. Here is exactly why. Number 14, beets are one of the smartest, easiest, most rewarding things you can put in the ground. Sow seeds directly about ½ an inch deep and 2 inches apart. Thin the seedlings to 3 to 4 inches apart after they come up. Germination takes 7 to 14 days, and most varieties are ready to harvest in 50 to 70 days. They thrive in USDA zones 2 through 10, prefer cooler weather, handle partial shade just fine, and need almost nothing except consistent moisture. Here is what makes beets genuinely special. You get 2 completely different crops from one single planting. You get the sweet, earthy root everyone knows, and you also get the greens, loaded with vitamins and nutrients, incredible sautéed with garlic and olive oil. You can harvest those greens while the roots are still developing underground. Detroit. Dark red is your classic reliable variety. Golden beets are milder and sweeter, and do not stain every surface they touch. Chioggia beets have stunning candy-striped red and white interiors that look spectacular sliced raw into salads. Plant in spring and again in late summer for 2 full harvests per year. Now, number 13 has a specific insider tip that most gardeners never hear, and it is the difference between a struggling crop and a plant that basically refuses to quit all season long. Number 13, peppers. Once peppers get established, they are about as close to indestructible as a vegetable plant can get. Start with transplants from a nursery, or start your own seeds indoors 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost date. Once nighttime temperatures consistently stay above 55 degrees Fahrenheit, get them in the ground in a full sun spot with well-draining soil. Most varieties produce fruit in 60 to 90 days from transplant and thrive in USDA zones 4 through 11. Bell peppers like California Wonder are reliable and classic. But the real tip for lazy gardeners? Go with hot peppers. Jalapenos, serranos, and cayenne are practically bulletproof. They produce more heavily, handle stress better, and shrug off conditions that would make a bell pepper sulk. Consistent watering, but do not overdo it. Peppers actually produce better fruit with slightly less water once they are setting fruit. Harvest regularly, and the plant keeps pushing out new peppers all season. The more you pick, the more it gives. And number 12, you can start this one with nothing but a trip to the grocery store and a mason jar of water. No garden needed. No money either. Here's how it works. Number 12, sweet potatoes. Grab a sweet potato from the grocery store. Stick a few toothpicks into the sides and suspend it over a jar of water, bottom half submerged. Set it in a warm, bright window. Within a week or two, leafy green sprouts called slips will start growing out of the top. Once those slips reach about 6 inches long, twist them off. Drop them in fresh water to root out, and then plant them in the garden after your last frost. Sweet potatoes love heat and full sun, and do best in USDA zones 8 through 11. Northern gardeners can make this work by laying black plastic mulch over the soil to warm it up and starting slips indoors early. Plant them 12 to 18 inches apart in loose, sandy soil, and then leave them alone. They need 90 to 170 days to mature, but ask for almost nothing during that time. The big, sprawling vines suppress weeds as they grow. One grocery store sweet potato can produce up to a dozen slips, a full garden bed worth of plants for literally $0. But number 11 might be the most magical crop on this entire list, because you plant it in the fall, forget it exists for months, and pull up something incredible the following summer. Here is the math that makes it feel like a trick. Number 11, garlic plant in the fall. Ignore it all winter. Harvest something amazing in the summer. Separate a garlic bulb into individual cloves. Push each clove 2 inches deep into the soil, pointed end facing up, about 4 to 6 weeks before your first hard frost. Then walk away. Garlic overwinters right there in the ground, pushes up green shoots in early spring, and is fully ready to harvest by early to midsummer. It needs full sun and well-draining soil, and thrives in USDA zones 3 through 8. Here's the math that makes garlic feel like magic. Every single clove you plant turns into a full bulb with 8 to 12 new cloves inside. Plant 10 cloves. Harvest up to 10 full bulbs. Keep some to eat. Save the best ones to replant, and you will never buy garlic at a grocery store again. Softneck varieties cure and store beautifully for months. Hardneck varieties produce scapes in the spring, those curly green shoots that taste incredible chopped into stir fries or blended into pesto. A light feeding of nitrogen-rich fertilizer in early spring, consistent moisture through the growing season, and stop watering completely when the lower leaves start turning brown. Pull the bulbs, cure them in a dry, airy spot for 2 weeks, and you are done. Now, number 10 is a vegetable that is so determined to grow, it will literally try to sprout in a dark pantry with no light and no water. Imagine what it does when you actually help it along. Number 10, potatoes. A potato will try to grow in a dark pantry with no light, no soil, and no water. Imagine what it can do when you actually give it what it needs. Take sprouted potatoes. Cut them into chunks with 1 or 2 eyes per piece. Let the cut surfaces dry out for a day, and plant them 4 inches deep in loose soil. As the plants grow upward, mound soil or straw around the base of the stems. That process is called hilling, and it encourages more tubers to form underground. That is genuinely the only special thing potatoes need. They thrive in USDA zones 3 through 10, love full sun, and are ready to harvest somewhere between 70 and 120 days, depending on variety. Yukon Gold gives you gorgeous, creamy, yellow potatoes with rich, buttery flavor. Red Pontiac is excellent for boiling and roasting. Kennebec is your reliable all-purpose variety. No garden bed, grow potatoes in buckets, canvas grow bags, or straw bales. One seed piece can yield 5 to 10 full-size potatoes, and harvest day feels exactly like finding buried treasure. Number 9 is coming up next, And this one does something almost no other vegetable does. It actually improves the ground it grows in while feeding your family at the same time. Here's how that works. Before we get into the top 9, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these vegetables you are planning to grow first, or if you are already growing any of them, let me know how it is going. I read every single comment, and I genuinely love hearing what is happening in your garden. Now let us keep going, because the best ones are still coming. Number 9, peas. Peas are one of the rare vegetables that makes your soil better while they grow. They are nitrogen fixers. Their roots pull nitrogen directly out of the air and deposit it into the soil. Better soil, healthier future crop, 0 fertilizer needed. Plant pea seeds about 1 inch deep and 2 inches apart directly in the garden in early spring, as soon as the soil is workable, even if frost is still in the forecast. They handle cold soil and light freezes without drama. Give them something to climb. Even a few sticks with string between them works perfectly. They germinate in 7 to 14 days, and most varieties produce pods in 50 to 70 days. Sugar Snap and Super Sugar Snap are outstanding varieties with sweet, crunchy edible pods you eat whole. Oregon Sugar Pod is a dependable snow pea, fantastic in stir fries. The harvest window is about 3 to 4 weeks, but pick pods frequently to keep the plant pumping out more. Number 8 is another vegetable that most people walk right past at the garden center tire, and that needs to stop today. It is tougher than almost anything else on this list, and it looks incredible doing it. Number 8, Swiss chard. Swiss chard is the toughest, most beautiful, most underappreciated vegetable you are probably not growing. This plant handles heat, handles cold, grows in poor soil, and forgives inconsistent watering. Sow seeds directly about 1/2 inch deep, thin seedlings to 6 inches apart, and harvest outer leaves whenever you want them. The plant keeps pushing out fresh new growth from the center for months. Swiss chard grows in USD, A zones 3 through 10, and thrives in both full sun and partial shade. Bright Lights is a showstopper variety, with stems in red, yellow, orange, and deep purple. So stunning that people plant it in flower beds just for the color. Ford Hook Giant is the classic, with thick white stems and rich dark green leaves. Baby leaves in about 30 days. Full-size leaves in 50 to 60 days. Swiss chard rarely bolts, handles light frosts without flinching, and bounces back stronger after a heavy harvest. And number 7 has a superpower that sounds almost too strange to believe. This plant actually gets sweeter the colder it gets. Frost makes it better. Here's why. Number 7, kale. 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That is how cold it can get, and kale just keeps going. Most vegetables surrender at 32 degrees. Kale sits in the frozen ground, getting sweeter and more flavorful by the day. Sow seeds directly about 1/4 inch deep, thin plants to 12 to 18 inches apart, and let it grow. Kale thrives in USDA zones 2 through 9, and many varieties handle summer heat surprisingly well too. Lacinato kale, also called dinosaur kale, has dark blue-green leaves with a bumpy texture and a mild, almost nutty flavor that even kale skeptics tend to enjoy. Red Russian has tender purple-tinged leaves, delicate enough to eat completely raw in salads. Always harvest the lower leaves first and leave the growing point at the center intact. The plant keeps producing new growth for months. A single kale plant can give you leaves from spring all the way through late fall. And in mild winter climates, it keeps right on going through the cold months without skipping a beat. Now, number 6 is one that most gardeners grow completely wrong. And there is one specific technique that will dramatically multiply your harvest. Most people never use it. Here it is. Number 6, cucumbers. Cucumbers are one of the most refreshing, productive summer crops you can grow. Sow seeds about 1 inch deep in warm soil after your last frost. Full sun, consistent water, something to climb. They germinate in 5 to 10 days and start producing in 50 to 65 days. Bush varieties like Space Master are perfect for containers or small gardens. Vining types like Marketmore and Straight 8 pump out heavier yields when trained up a trellis. Here is the technique that separates an okay harvest from an exceptional one. Grow them vertically. Training cucumbers up a trellis saves space, dramatically improves airflow, which reduces disease pressure, and makes harvesting easy since every fruit is visible. Nothing gets hidden, nothing gets missed, nothing gets left on the vine too long. Harvest frequently when fruits are 6 to 8 inches long. If you leave an overripe cucumber on the vine, the plant slows production way down. Keep picking, keep the plant producing. We are in the top 5 now, and number 5 is the most popular vegetable people grow at home, but almost everyone grows the wrong version. Here's the one you should actually be planting. Number 5. Cherry tomatoes. Regular big tomatoes can be needy. Cherry tomatoes just want to grow and bury you in fruit. They are more disease resistant than large fruited varieties, more heat tolerant, and far more forgiving when your watering schedule gets inconsistent. Plant transplants after all danger of frost has passed in full sun with a sturdy cage or stake. They thrive in USDA zones 3 through 11, and most varieties ripen fruit in 55 to 70 days from transplant. Sweet Million, Sun Gold, and Super Sweet 100 are spectacular performers that produce ripe fruit from midsummer all the way through your first hard frost. Water at the base, not over the top of the plant. Feed with a tomato-specific fertilizer every couple of weeks and harvest constantly. The more you pick, the more the plant produces. Never stop picking. Many cherry tomato varieties will even self-seed, meaning volunteer plants pop up the following spring without you planting a single seed. Number 4 grows absolutely anywhere, requires almost no attention, and delivers harvest after harvest without ever asking much in return. And there is one thing about how it grows that changes everything for beginners. Number 4, lettuce. Lettuce is a cut and come again crop. That means you harvest the outer leaves and the plant grows new ones from the center. You never pull the whole plant. You just keep snipping and it keeps growing. Fresh salad on demand for weeks. Scatter seeds on top of moist soil. Press them down gently and keep them damp. Do not bury them. Lettuce seeds need light to germinate, and covering them is one of the most common beginner mistakes. They sprout in 4 to 10 days, and you can start cutting baby leaves in as little as 3 to 4 weeks from seeding. Lettuce loves cool weather and does best in USDA zones 2 through 10 during spring and fall. In warmer climates, grow it through the winter months. It handles partial shade beautifully. Loose leaf varieties like Red Sails, Black-Seeded Simpson, and Buttercrunch are the most forgiving and fastest to produce. Grow it in garden beds, containers, window boxes, or a shallow tray on your kitchen counter. Water consistently, keep it cool, and you will have more fresh salad greens than you know what to do with for months. Number 3 is the fastest vegetable on this entire list. We are talking less than a month from seed to table. If you have ever felt like nothing you plant ever works, this is the one that is going to change that feeling immediately. Number 3, radishes. Some varieties go from seed in the ground to fully ready to eat in as little as 20 to 25 days. Not months, not weeks, 25 days, less than a month. While your other seeds are still figuring out which way is up, you are already eating homegrown food. Sow seeds directly about ½ an inch deep, 1 inch apart, and keep the soil moist. That is the entire process. Radishes grow in USDA zones 2 through 10, prefer cooler temperatures, and are perfect for early spring and fall planting. Cherry Belle is the classic round red radish. French Breakfast is a beautiful elongated variety with a crunchy bite. White Icicle is longer and milder, great for people who find regular radishes too sharp. Succession sow every 2 weeks through the cool season for a continuous rolling harvest. Radishes also work brilliantly as companion plants and row markers. They germinate so fast, they show you where your rows are while repelling certain pests at the same time. If you are brand new to gardening and need a win, start here. Number 2 does something that almost no other vegetable on this list does. It improves your soil while it grows, and it is one of the most reliable crops you will ever put in the ground. Here is why the lazy gardener absolutely cannot skip this one. Number 2, green beans. Green beans are about as close to foolproof as vegetable gardening gets. Whether you go with bush beans or pole beans, the process is identical. Plant seeds about 1 inch deep directly in the garden after your last frost. Green beans do not transplant well, so direct sowing is non-negotiable. And honestly, it could not be easier. They germinate in 7 to 10 days, and bush varieties start pushing out beans in about 50 to 60 days. Pole varieties take a little longer, but keep producing over a much longer stretch of the season. Like peas, green beans are nitrogen fixers. They pull nitrogen out of the air and deposit it into the soil around their roots, genuinely improving your garden while they grow. Less fertilizer needed now, better growing conditions for everything you plant next season. They thrive in USDA zones 3 through 10, handle most soil types without complaint, and love full sun. Blue Lake and Provider are classic incredibly reliable bush varieties. Contender handles cooler temperatures especially well. Keep picking regularly, and they will keep producing all season. A vegetable that feeds the soil, feeds your family, and barely asks for anything in return. And now, the moment you have been waiting for. Number 1. The vegetable so productive, so unstoppable, so wildly over-the-top generous that it has become a genuine legend in the gardening world. Here we go. Number 1. Zucchini, the undisputed heavyweight champion of easy, productive vegetables. Here's the honest truth. The biggest problem you will have growing zucchini is too much of it. Not too little, too much. Zucchini is so productive, it has become an actual joke in the gardening community. People leave bags of it on their neighbors' porches under cover of darkness because they cannot give it away fast enough. And that is a beautiful problem to have. Sow seeds about 1 inch deep in warm soil after your last frost. Full sun, decent drainage. Then step back and watch what happens. Each plant starts producing fruit in 45 to 55 days. And once production starts, you will be harvesting every other day. Every single other day. 1 or 2 plants is genuinely more than enough for most families. And you will still end up with more zucchini than you know what to do with. 1 seed, 1 planting. Enough zucchini to fill your kitchen, feed your family, make zucchini bread, grill it, stuff it, spiralize it into pasta, and still have plenty left over for every neighbor on your street. That is the lazy gardener dream, and zucchini delivers it without fail, every single season, no matter what. If this video helped you, hit that like button, subscribe, and watch the next video on screen for more tips on growing more food with less work, because that is exactly what this channel is built for. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.